JT Anang and Bishop Fred Crunchymen. I've already said good morning. I won't belabor your ears, bother your ears again. But let's do ladies first, shall we? Effie. Almost every message. Okay, let me just read this one. Daniel, good morning. Females are more complex, whether choleric or phlegmatic, than males. From Robert I. in Kaswa. I got another one who said that, look, by all means, the women will say men are complicated. But we all know that even women themselves don't understand themselves.
Yeah, I think that we like to complicate a simple issue.
right.
We are all different as individuals, right? And I think that we've spent so many years, hundreds of years, trying to convince ourselves. But I had to think about this. I was like, hang on, let's look at the women in the Bible. We say women are complicated, that they like doing things around, but the women in the Bible were very direct. Potiphar's wife, Joseph, I want you. She went straight in for it. Esther, Mordecai, go do A, B, C, and D. That's how we're going to get through this situation. Naomi to Ruth. Okay, Ruth, I want you to go and lie here. I want you to pick this many pieces of that. Super direct, super simple, super clear. But I think that we spent so much time like, no, we have to find ways of making sense. I'm sure there was one man and one woman who were complicated and simple, and they had to just tell everybody this is how it's going to be for the rest of life. So society has built pretense. Even in our cultures, Akan culture, women are the kingmakers. And how many times do we hear we spend time crowing the guy's ego so that he thinks he makes the decisions even though we make the decision? That is not about simplicity. So rather,
what's the point that you're making about it?
My point is that women are direct, and we like to believe they are not. But actually, we have built society teaching women that you are complicated and men are simple, when sometimes it's quite the opposite.
You know, one thing I love about Uncle White. Now, he was talking, and when I went to watch A Crazy Ride, he said that the Bible doesn't give a lot of details in some of the things that happened, right? So, for instance, how do we know what happened between the time when Mordecai told Esther to go and do the thing and when Esther actually did the thing?
This is what happened. There was 3 days. And they fasted and prayed.
And then Mordecai
and then she went in to see the king.
And then Mordecai told her, look, you had better. He said, look, don't think that you are safe over there. You know, Mordecai, why did Mordecai have to go and tell her that? What about all the other examples that you have given? Take Deborah, for instance. Take Deborah, for instance. So, Deborah, call a man and ask him to go and do this. Oh, so why are people coming inside the studio right now who are not part of the conversation? We put out a whole artwork.
He's complicating a
we
simple
put out
issue.
a whole artwork and advertised our guests for the show, and people are walking into the studio. And guess what? It's the uncomplicated sex which is walking into the studio.
I'm glad you said uncomplicated.
Okay, let me come to the other. No, but seriously, aren't we simplifying it if we just look at the Bible stories as they are now?
I mean, definitely, but I'm trying to use examples, and I'm trying to say that often the examples around us are put sidelined, and we go, oh, women are complicated. Why are women complicated? We like to say men don't remember dates, but actually, if we look at how the business world is presented to us, it's men that run it. They set the dates for the meetings. They honor those meetings. Then when it comes to a simple issue, and I'm putting this in quotation marks because not all women care, but when it comes to the simple issue of today is my birthday, suddenly men don't know how to keep dates.
Or our anniversary.
So I think sometimes it's just a case of playing out what works for you, and that in itself is complicated.
Okay, so which one would you say ranks higher on the complication scale?
I'm going to hold that comment for the rest of the conversation and think through it well. Because you know what I'm thinking. I think men are more complicated.
You think
but
men
that's
are more
too
complicated?
simple.
Yeah, so no, I'm not asking for a simplistic answer. Mommy, do you agree that men are more complicated?
Listen, let me play with semantics, okay? So basically, if you want to look at complicated as a negative thing in this context, then obviously we would have to say, okay, men are more complicated because it's a whole debate. But to be honest, I think that even the term complex or complicated just means that you have more intricacies. And there's so many levels to women in terms of the fact that we go through all the body changes, we carry the seed. And so all of that, I just think that even with the Bible, that's why it says, love the woman, because there's just so many facets to us. And I think that, hey, if for me, are women complicated? Yes, but being complicated may not be necessarily negative. It's just that there's so many sides to you. You go through ovulation. You go through, you have a menstrual cycle.
Those
Your body,
swings.
yes, I mean, you experience all of these things. And so,
Daniel, thank you.
I would say that.
Yes.
Okay, so your answer is yes, we are complicated, but for good reason.
Of course.
Okay.
Considering just how we
I
are
don't know how
civilized,
Ajete is going to
it's-
rebut that. So I mean, here we have on the other side someone admitting that yes, we are complicated, but for good reason. Someone saying that we are not complicated at all. That alone tells a story, doesn't it?
Yeah, I honestly think the listeners are going to wonder whether we have more women here, because I don't think that, for that matter, I don't think that men are simple. I mean, if men were simple, we wouldn't have the wars that we've had in the past. And so women are not complicated. I think that we're just different, and we just need to begin to appreciate how we're all wired, and not really put us in a box that this is how women are and this is how men are. And for me, that's where I want to start from.
So what are some of those differences that jump out at you the most?
So well, I'll go back to practicality. Of course, I've had some experiences, and so I'm learning. And so, for example, the women I'd rather say that they're a bit more sensitive than men, because there are things that we, for example, have taken for granted, and then she points out to me that, it means pretty much more than you think. And I'm like, what's the big deal? And then later, I realize that, it's 10 or something. So, for example, somebody sends me an emoji, kissing or something, repeatedly, and I take it like, it's normal. I mean, things that you can, social media language. But then later on, the woman is like, okay, I've been showing you all this love, everything, and you just, and she points it out that, look, this is going to lead somewhere. You get, and I think that we're able to gloss over things much more easier than they do. It's also because they are wired differently, and we need to just appreciate that they are wired differently, and we are. But the differences should not, break us apart, and rather should rather mend us together.
So, Bishop, the differences we understand are there. The question that has come up this morning is that how do those differences affect how we relate? Because in the end, it makes it very puzzling for the two to come together, doesn't it?
Okay, let me start by emphasizing on the differences. I try to avoid the word complicated or even complex because it sends a negative connotation. We're just significantly different. Looking at creation, if you look at the story of creation, man was formed, which means he was shaped into a form. And a woman was made, which means the woman was built. A woman was taken from the rib of a man. Man was made out of dust. So these two different ways of making both sexes should tell us that we are significantly different. I think that when we try to understand, I don't think that women are complicated per se. It is just their make. For instance, if you look at the brain of a woman, although it is like 8 to 10% smaller than the brain of a man, you would realize that it is more complex. It's the reason women communicate differently. It's the reason women love differently. It's the reason women process information differently. So I will say that the key word is this: if we understand their make, if we are empathetic with them, there shouldn't be any problem.
Interesting.
Although significantly we are two different entities, we complement each other. So if we can understand them empathetically, I don't think there should be any issues.
So, Bishop, how do these differences present themselves? We've already heard Pusha mention how, Ajete mentioned how, in texting, for instance, he understands or interprets emojis differently. In which ways have you seen these differences present themselves?
Number one, in the way men and women love. You see, a woman will assess her potential man through physical qualities and then also inner qualities like personality traits. So it takes a lot of time. And then once the woman is in love, she's indeed in love, and she loves with her heart. She loves with her emotions. A man falls in love quickly, For men, we experience that love at first sight phenomenon.
As soon as you see her, that's it.
Exactly. So the way we fall in is the same way we fall out.
As soon as you see another one, that's
Gee.
So
I'm not talking about me or Bishop or Preacher. There are some men out there far away.
exactly so.
The simple ones.
Exactly so. So we love differently. When a woman is in love, she's in love. When a woman is not in love, she's not in love. She takes her time. She assesses her potential man with all these, and once she gets in love, she's in love with her heart. A man will just decides to fall in love. So women love with their heart, men mostly love with our head.
Okay, I want to understand that a bit more. So I'll come to the ladies of the house and ask them, what does loving with your heart mean? And in the first place, do they even agree? But we'll first take the Joy Business Minute, and then we'll take a few messages from our sponsors. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Welcome to the Joy Business Minute.
Hello, it's Darrell and Karen.
The National Insurance Commission has warned that there will be no extension of the 2021 deadline set for all insurance firms to meet the new capital requirement. It formally announced a more than 200% increase in capital requirement for all insurance players.
Economist Professor Peter Quarter is calling for a strong collaboration between the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and that of monitoring and evaluation to track the benefits of agri policies introduced by government. According to him, the collaboration should also help assess whether Ghana is getting value for money.
The Ghana Mine Workers Union has called on government to take steps to initiate and tight legislation on contract employment in the country. This, it says, will stop the continuous abuse of workers.
Elsewhere, Bank of England Governor Mark Carney gave Facebook's proposed digital currency Libra a cautious welcome in a major speech on Thursday. He said it would substantially lower costs and increase financial inclusion, but needs regulation.
That's it.
We're here again at 3:06.
Seesaw, up and down. Seesaw, up and down.
Dear Ghana, up and down is good for some things, but your internet is not one of them. It shouldn't go from 4G to 2G like child's play. Get true 4G LTE internet for grown-ups. Grab a Surfline 4G LTE MiFi device today. At Surfline, we give you 10 gigabytes, then add 5 gigabytes of data when you make your first purchase. Call us on 0302 745 777 or visit any of our retail outlets and get the internet you deserve. Yours truly, Surfline. It's about time.
Nothing stops our desire to win. From being several goals down to winning the game. From the tackles, the dribbles, even the Sulia before the winning goal. Nothing stops our drive. The Ghanaian game is alive. It's in all of us. The Total AFCON 2019. We were made for this.
Let nothing stop your passion. Keep paying with your Visa card or scan to pay with Visa. Ask your bank for a Visa card today. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
So Nanafin will lay the apoconcron in just a moment. But my question is, why do we need an Odo doctor with an IMA formula in the first place? I thought it was mathematicians who had formulas, but that's another thing altogether. If you need a formula for something, it means it's complicated. I mean, I worked out formulas in calculus and Laplace. Oh, Jesus, in engineering math. So the question we are asking is that which gender is more complicated? Is it women because they need formulas and doctors? Or it's men because we feel we need to develop formulas and doctors for things that are just straightforward? We're getting to the bottom of the matter with our guests in studio, but you are also a big part of this conversation. Good morning, Good morning, Daniel. The issue is men stand by what they mean and they are not complicated. They are steadfast and not complicated. To add up, when we like, but when we hate, it's forever. That's meant for you. That's a point that I want to come to with the ladies. But enjoy every Copa America game live and in HD only on Star Times World Football Channel 245 and Sports Premium 246, available to Super Bouquet subscribers. To make it all easy for you, Star Times is offering you the Super Promo. Just pay 2 months Super Bouquet subscription now and enjoy 15 days extra. Enjoy more for less only on Star Times. Call our hotline 0242 437 888 or 0302 739 988. Star Times, enjoy digital life. Here's your data tidbits for today. How to save data on Instagram. Go to your profile and tap settings. Tap account cellular data usage. Next to use less data, tap to toggle on. Switch to MTN 4G Plus today and experience super fast internet speed. Visit mtn.com.gh for more details. Hashtag we day for you. MTN everywhere you go. So before we went on the break, we had Bishop Kwanche Mensah tell us how men love with their heads and women love with their hearts. So what does loving with your heart even mean, Effie? Or do you agree?
I don't. I've actually been told the opposite. That. But then, whatever. We'll get back to that.
So okay, let me ask it this way: how do women love?
I think it's about age and exposure and what you want at the time. I think when you're very young, a lot of young women go in with their hearts. They go in thinking, does he make me laugh? Is he cute? And even that, I don't know if it's heart or more sort of some kind of weird superficial thing. And I mean, it can last till you're older. But then when you realize that you want to marry or all your friends are, peer pressure, everybody's in a relationship, women start looking deeper. Okay, does he read? Is he aware of what's going on around him? And that in itself is a mind thing. Okay, then we get to the more complicated issue of, is he... If I have a belief system, I'm a Christian and I want a Christian man. Now suddenly the range of men I have to choose from is smaller. It's different. Do I want a guy who just goes to church on Sunday, or do I want a guy with a relationship? And then it becomes mind and not heart. So you find a lot of women are in relationships and they're not in it with their hearts. They're in it with their mind. This makes sense to the people around me. So I think it changes.
Of course, everyone changes in how they approach things as they grow, doesn't it? Don't they? And I want to get these thoughts from you on how men, on the other hand, approach, choosing a partner, for instance, the way it's been laid out here. Do you find any similarity or there's a difference?
Well, there's not much difference, I think that for us, what we see is much more forms and the basis of the decisions that we make, because we are lured by sight much more than before we would go beyond that, and so it's that's what it is. My only problem is that we every now and then we try to box things, and I remember when we did we shared something about our lessons in marriage. This was by no means to sort of educate anybody, but just to share an experience and what we did and how we survived, etc. And we put out that we share responsibilities, domestic responsibilities at home. There was an uproar, on social media, and to the extent that there was a heading that said, Pusha does dishes to save his marriage, and there were so many men who were bashing me, for going to a no-go area because that is the setting for women, and therefore we begin to categorize things like that. And the moment you appear to be doing something that women in quotes are supposed to do, then you're going off track. Okay. And so as I said, we're different in our own ways, and individuals, they're exceptions, but generally, 7 out of 10, this is what happens. But of course, as my colleague said, individuals are different and people have different experiences. Sometimes you find men who pretty much behave more like women in that sense, and you go back, you check, and you realize that they've been surrounded by women all their lives, and so that influence also has its own take on their output.
Yeah, the opposite is also true, isn't it? That we find women who, Bishop,
that's right,
behave like we would expect a man to behave. But what I'm trying to drill down to is, what's this expected behavior of a man, really? And I've not really gotten it in listening to us here, that where lies the difference? Because we would be amiss if we left the studio and told ourselves that we are not really different. We are. So what are the differences, Bishop?
We are very different. Like I said in the beginning.
So take me to a situation at home. What is one difference that you find?
Like in communication, my wife wants to talk. I want to talk. I want to talk because there's a problem I want to solve. So I am very direct. I'm very linear. This is it. Let's talk about it. This didn't go well. That didn't go well. My wife wants to talk because she wants to express her emotions. My wife wants to talk because she wants to bond with her husband. My wife has a lot of reasons she wants to talk. So this is a major difference between a man and a woman, or a husband and a wife, so to speak. If I say to my wife, we probably are not having sex enough, what I mean is that we should increase the frequency. My wife understands it this way. I'm not satisfying you. I'm not good enough. Are you finding someone elsewhere? You know, so we need to understand these differences. I come so direct. She understands it in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Because psychologically, our brains are structured differently. Even the brain of a woman is more complex.
Right.
So she links things up. I go so direct. She is not that direct.
Okay. You're live on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. It's 11 minutes past 9. We are exploring the differences between men and women. And around the question, is one gender really more complicated than the other? Interesting responses we are getting, and we are really drilling down to the details of the realistic situations we face each and every day when we are in relationships. However, we have some news just coming in. We'll take a quick breather, and then George will join us to bring us that. Just a sneak peek, you'll be paying different tariffs for your electricity bills very soon. So you want to find out exactly what you'll be paying? Stay with us.
At Afrodan, we believe that many of the problems people have with their health is as a result of the way they sit. In other words, your chair can kill you. Here's Dr. Marcus Mann of the Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
What you have to remember is that the spine is the lifeline to your body, and posture is the window to that spine. Now, posture is affected by your daily activities and habits like sitting. That's why at the Chiropractic and Wellness Centers, we recommend what I believe to be the best chairs available for preventing not only subluxations, but also other health problems that you may not be aware of. And that's Rabami and Mobilex chairs. Unfortunately, on a daily basis, I have to correct the effects of this poor sitting habit in our businessmen and businesswomen. Always remember, optimal spine equals optimum health.
So, for the sake of your health, buy Rabami or Mobilex chairs from Afrodan. We're on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade. Telephone 663-085.
Hey, Kwame, what's up here?
My brother, my wife has been diagnosed with cancer.
What?
My brother is here with kidney disease too.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know the World Health Organization estimates that over 16,000 new cases of cancers are diagnosed annually in Ghana, and kidney diseases account for 10% of all medical admissions to Kolebu?
But thanks to Glyco-Critical Illness Plan, GSIP, I have spent over 20,000 Ghana cedis on my younger brother's disease. Yeah. What is GSIP?
Glyco-Critical Illness Plan, GSIP, provides you with financial support when diagnosed with any critical illness or dread disease such as cancers, strokes, kidney failures. Speak to GlycoLife today on 0302-218-500 for your GSIP policy. It is definitely in our interest to survive. GlycoLife, we cushion you for life.
A great journey lies ahead of us all, but we all have different paths carved out for us. When choosing your path, make sure you choose a partner you can trust, a partner with integrity who will always stand with you and give you the support you need when you need it. No matter who you are and where you are in your journey in life, you are very significant, and so is the path you're on. Consolidated Bank Ghana cherishes financial security as much as you do and shares the same values as you, and that is why we are the right financial partner to stand with you. We are now one of the largest banks in Ghana, and we are ready to partner and work with you. CBG, we stand with you. soccer feeling and win big with a NASCO Soccer Fever promotion with so much more excitement on our reduced prices and gifts. From as low as 449 Ghana cedis, you are assured of watching all the live action, the goals, and the tackles on NASCO TVs. Soccer your eyes away with our 43-inch TV at 1,299 Ghana cedis and get a free phone. You can also win a smartphone and a free Bluetooth speaker when you buy any 55 to 65-inch TV. Starting from 699 Ghana cedis, you get a double-door fridge with a free blender and a free kettle when you buy our chest freezer. Ish! NASCO Soccer Fever, be a day. Visit any of our showrooms or authorized resellers now. It's the NASCO Soccer Fever promotion. NASCO, bring home happiness.
So everyone says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy or go out to find out the latest filler. It's just that I get 50 megabytes of data free after paying for only the first minute of every call. And so I just keep discovering stuff minute after minute. That's how come I was minding my business, scrolling through my timeline, and I found out Coco has a new baby. Oh, and last week I learned Ken won the lottery. You see, Ken is my brother's friend. So hello, look who's about to roll with the rich and famous.
Enjoy even more value with MTN Free After One. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN Free After One, and the rest is free. Plus, you enjoy free 50 megabytes worth of data to browse your favorite sites. Compare where, compare there. So dial *315# to sign up. We day for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back at 16 minutes past 9 here on your Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Like I said before we went on the break, we have news just coming in that you will be paying more on your electricity bill. The man with the details is George Riafi. George.
So, Daniel, what we understand is that the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PRC, has approved 11.17% tariff increase for recovery of the total electricity revenue requirement for the regulatory or the regulated electricity market. And that's the very important bit. Those that comes under PURC effective July 1, the tariff is going to go up by 11.17% according to the PURC, Daniel.
We also understand that the major tariff review is the outcome of a prudent cost review and effective monitoring undertaken by the Commission. But we need to have some details.
So now that PDS is expected to operationalize this whole adjustment, because don't forget that there's a band that is also immune sometimes from these adjustments as well. So it means that they have to come up with the details, meaning what would this mean to you, Daniel, if you go to try and purchase power? Would this affect you? Will you come under Lifeline or you're going to pay more? But what we understand is that this is just for electricity. And they've also taken on proposals from the Ghana Water and they're looking into that one. But this adjustment is just for consumers of electricity, Daniel.
Okay, and finally, George, about this SLT customers, who are usually the large and industrial customers, we understand they may have some savings.
It looks like there's been some savings being worked out for them because this argument that gives them immunity to big industry, because if they expand, they can also employ more and all those. So it appears that some packages being put together for the large industries in terms of the payment of electricity, Daniel.
So just to emphasize, there's been an 11.17% increase in electricity bills.
Approved by PRC.
What that means is that the PDS will now release a reckoner to give us the details of how that much means in pesos and cedis. And depending on the number of units that you consume when you're buying prepaid, how much that will mean when you are paying.
You're right, Daniel.
Thanks so much, George. So that was the news just coming in, 11.17% increment, and effective July 1, 2019. That's one that is very important for us to add. So beginning July 1, 2019, we will be paying more for electricity bills. But like I said earlier, PDS Power Distribution Services, or NETCO, if you are listening to us in any part of Northern Ghana, will come out with the details of the pesos and cedis that will be added to your electricity bill, depending on your consumption. So that's it for that little sound factoid, if I can call it that we had to bring you. Let's get back to this. Okay, so since we've talked about electricity bills, let's talk about how we approach money, shall we? So when this conversation about increased electricity bills reaches the house, how will the conversation go between the man and a woman. What does that mean? Does that mean that some people are going to pay less for hair, shoes, or people will pay less for nice watches? Let me start this. Effie, you're having a conversation with your significant other about money. What's your first approach, and how does this differ from how your significant other speaks?
I plead the fifth. I don't like money.
You don't like money?
I don't like what it does. I don't like the fact that we need it. I don't like how it affects lives and people's perceptions of each other. So honestly, you're making me admit I don't have a significant other. But
you have had a significant other before.
And it's never
been
at
issue.
the point where it has to come up. I will say that on a very superficial, I don't like money level, I know that some of the small issues have been who pays for what. Is it okay if we're both working, for example, for you to come and give me a sum of money for the week? When I'm like, I don't think we're in a position where you need to do that yet. Save your money. Or when, as a gift, I will go and put a T-bill down for you, because even if we don't stay together, that's something you can use later. This is how I approach it. But in terms of in a working, living, married or extended relationship, I don't think I'm the one to answer that question.
I'm going to, taking a cue from that, I'm going to go straight to Ajete for that one. It's been 12 years. How does the question of money play along in the house?
I think that we've grown over the years, and I remember one of the first things that I did in the very beginning, because I don't like figures, I don't like things to do with money, So my security has been whatever money that comes in, I give it to her. Sometimes I have no idea what's my account, is reading, and it's safe. It gives me peace of mind, and so that when she comes to me and says that, Charlie, we're in the red door, I know that we're really down, but. It's as I haven't really. It's not an area where I'd want to bother myself over. The only thing is that traditionally, I think that we find ourselves knowing that the man has to pay the school fees, the man has to pay some bills, related to whether electricity or water. So that's traditional. But we've grown out of that to a place where, look, whoever pays the bills, as and when. And so there's no fine line as to you are doing this, I'm doing that. And that's why I can do dishes too.
You can't do dishes.
That's why I can do dishes.
That's why you
too.
can do dishes too.
Yeah.
It's just something that you can do.
Yeah. Whoever is...
So, Mami, there's no difference whatsoever when it comes to talking about money?
For me, I think with the money topic, I would say that even with the discussion about it, like you said, imagine like the whole increase now. I know this to be true. Maybe the men can say if I'm wrong. That men process things internally. Women do by speaking externally.
That's right.
And so sometimes a man is not saying anything and you think he doesn't care. So you're like, don't you care? Won't you say something? But he's processing. Right. Sometimes it takes him a day or two, but he will come back onto the topic. But sometimes women in that moment, you feel like he's not seeing the seriousness of what's going on. And so I would say even with the money thing, it's just that like I said, the timing of discussing it. And I think even with men, if I'm not mistaken also, that usually with women find security in relationship. And that's why I think somebody was even saying that if you look at the time that when God dealt with the woman and the man, Adam and Eve, he said to the man, you will till the land. That's why that was more the man's curse. And then the woman said, your desire will be for the man. So it's like at the end of the day, men find their security, their strength in what they are bringing in. Their financials, the work that they're doing. Women find it in the relationship. Him protecting, him being there for her, providing. And so in the money context, for a woman, for a man, when things are tough financially, you guys are a little off. But it takes communication. So sometimes in that moment, for the man to come out and say, I'm worried, it's bothering me. But sometimes they don't say. And so the man is not saying anything. The woman needs to hear. Because when we don't hear that, we don't think that you're concerned. So hear and you allay her fears.
Just that simple sentence.
Just
like,
that
I need a minute to think about this. Then she can go, okay, she might be like, how long is that minute? But it's like, just keep checking in and I'll let you know. That's enough. But just like, I'm okay. Like,
and you say he's okay,
but sometimes we just want to be quiet, Bishop.
You see, basically, what we should understand the differences. For instance, an average man has 7,000 words in a day. An average woman has 15,000. So twice what I have. So obviously, in communicating, you will talk more. When I have exhausted my 7,000, you still have 8,000.
But why don't we like talking?
It's a man thing. It's our makeup. We like to think and create solutions. Women will like to talk about it and use that to release their emotions.
And create solutions.
Yeah, I was of course. You should allow me to land.
There are less words, so we have to land.
It's not as if you just express your emotions.
No, but I was trying to read this book yesterday. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I was trying to read this as quickly as I could, and I found something interesting that women find release in just talking about it and not necessarily resolving it immediately.
Get off your chest is a thing. And sometimes it depends on the thing. So you know that sometimes there's something worrying you. Yes. You're not asking him to tell you what to do to solve it. You just want him to say, I get it. I understand. So when the man starts giving you solutions, you get irritated because you just want to get it off.
Mm-hmm.
You're using the rest of our 7,000.
This is
a problem.
It's a problem. Why don't we solve it?
You will have to understand that in as much as we understand your different makeup, you should also understand our makeup. That we are not blessed with words. Per our makeup, we like to think. You see, a man will be doing things behind the scenes, like you said in the beginning. For 2 days, he's not talking, he's not said anything. It doesn't mean he's not doing anything about it. So basically, if the woman understands that my man is not talking, not because he doesn't care, but that is a man for you. I know he's probably planning something out. He's probably working something out. I think the basic thing here is understanding each other, our differences,
Okay. It's 26 minutes past 9. Here's the Super Morning Show. Enjoy 99.7 FM. I want us to come back to just asking ourselves, what are the common misunderstandings that we have faced? Effie? What are the common things that you misunderstand about men?
Well, it actually goes back to what Bishop was saying, the understanding. I am a person that's outgoing in public. In my room, I don't want to talk. It goes back to that thing of I don't want to pick up my phone. And what I don't like is when someone doesn't understand that, okay, Effie is loud and outgoing, but actually she's very thoughtful. Actually, she thinks deeply. Actually, she likes to reconstruct and deconstruct everything to figure out where she places herself. But if you don't understand that, and then you view me as she's a woman, so A, B, C, and D. Sometimes, I can bring this up. I've had a lot of people say, oh, women use period pain as an excuse for things, but actually it's a legitimate thing. I am in physical pain, and I still have to think logically. My body is doing things that inside I know, but I can't always control the outside reaction. So there are times when I'm quiet because I'm in pain and I need to still work through the same way you are. So I feel like sometimes the same way women are expected to understand men and expected to navigate around that, I think sometimes men can also look out and go, oh, okay, she also wants to be quiet now. Oh, let me just hold her hand because it looks like she's about to cry from something that I don't understand, and not try to just get it, just be there. So I think it's the same thing Bishop said. Understanding is very key.
Okay, I'm just going to open the phone lines now. 0302-216-541, 0302-216-541. So call us and tell us what you think. Is one gender more complicated than the other? And which one is it, men or women? Our Kingdom Books and Stationery offers a 30-day credit facility with no interest charge and free delivery within Accra, Tema, and surrounding towns. Visit us today at Osu Akwaje, University of Ghana campus. Kingdom Books are next near the Accra Sports Stadium, Tema on the main TDC junction, Kumasi on the KNUST campus, Cape Coast on the UCC campus, Takrady at Fijai near the Teachers Hall. You can call 0302-764-101 or 762307 or visit kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, your number one stop shop for all office essentials, stationery and furniture. Text messages are brought to you by Afrodan, your back must last you a lifetime, and Glyco Critical Illness Plan. GSIP, Glyco, we cushion you for life. Now, the Glycocritical Illness Plan, GSIP, has been designed to alleviate some of the financial burdens critical illnesses pose on loved ones and family. Do not wait until it's too late. Sign on to the Glycocritical Illness Plan, GSIP, for financial support when diagnosed with critical illness such as cancers, strokes, kidney failures, and others. Speak to GlycoLife today for your GSIP policy on 020-2222-113 or dial Star Glyco on your Star phone app, available on Android and iOS. GlycoLife, we cushion you for life. My first caller is back. Someone who is coming back, Isaac James from Abokobi. Good morning, Isaac.
Good morning, Didi. In fact, firstly, before I talk, I want to say that complication is not a negativity here. Women, as we would say, or most people would say, are complicated. It doesn't mean that the complication is not a negativity. Because even as the pastor said, their brains are more complex. We are talking about complexity. So they are, of course, than men. Because biologically, scientifically, physically, emotionally, mentally, in action and indeed, truly, women are, even their makeup, body makeup and its mechanism are most complicated, but it's not a negativity. Their complications help us, and it molds us, because I can say that I am who I am today because of my mother.
Amazing story, amazing stuff. Isaac, thanks so much for calling. Let me go to Richard from Kumasi. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Daniel. And good morning to Peace and Love Hospital staff at Winters Road.
Okay.
Well, I think most times we think women are complicated, but actually they are not. I think men are rather complicated. And you know why?
Tell me.
For men, you want one thing, but ask for something else. Men like big butts, breasts, but turn around and shave girls who show too much of it. We like bad girls, but want a good girl. They will do hair, but they wouldn't marry her. They dislike expressing their feelings, even though it is so important in a relationship. Of course, these are broad generations, and not every man and woman are the same. These are the complications that young women may see in men.
Interesting, Richard. Thank you very much for calling. Emmanuel from Dansoman. Good morning, Emma. Hi, Emmanuel. Unfortunately, I lost him there. 28 minutes to the top of the hour. 030-2216-541. I just heard Effie get so excited with Richard. Why so? Why so?
I think we were all excited. We've just read another message earlier where another guy was kind of
they say
the same
women
situation.
are too complicated. They cry when both are happy and sad. When they are both happy and sad, they strive too hard to achieve someone, only to deserve a totally different thing. They love gentle, God-fearing guys, but hang out with weed-smoking hooligans.
I mean, that's just what the guy was saying that made us all laugh.
Interesting.
You know, clearly, not everybody is clear or direct with their communication.
All right. Christine is calling from Accra. Good morning, Christine.
Hi, good morning. This is Christine. I would say that much often than not, we think women are complicated, but women are not complicated at all because we are very expressive. So we give off what's on our chest at a moment in time. We say what's on our minds, but men don't. You know, 1 minute they are moody, they don't express themselves, they don't know what is happening to them. And when you tend to talk about it, they think, oh, she's talking too much, oh, she's nagging. But it's not the case. You understand? We are expressive. We want to know what is happening so we can provide solutions if we can. So I think women are not complicated. Men are very complicated.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Christine. Dominic is also calling from Accra. Good morning, Dominic.
Hello, good morning. Good morning to your cherished listeners.
Yep, let's hear you.
My take is women are more complicated. Even in love making, you realize that men easily come before women. So to me, women are more complicated.
Wow. Okay. Too much information there. Hi, Daniel. The lady just said it perfectly. Sometimes I just want to vent and bring it all out. Not because I want a solution, but just to bring it out. Just listen and be there. Grace from East Legon. Interesting. Daniel, God made both male and female. He created woman complex. The man is the first version and the woman came next. Latest versions of the same brand of car are usually complicated in mode and use. So the 2000 Camry is less complicated than the 2019 model of the same brand. You need more complex understanding to use that 2000 Camry. To use that car. Hence, women are the latest version of God's creation for the human brand, and they are more complicated. So the manufacturer said men should live with them by complex understanding. Dwell with them according to knowledge. They are better, expensive, and a complicated version. If you doubt, check their parts. Alex from Bawi is on the line. Good morning, Alex.
Hello, good morning, Daniel. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm also fine, thanks. It's a nice topic. You know, I think we'll miss the point if we try to know which of the two is more complicated. I think it's a human nature. Human beings are very complex if we see it from that angle, because we don't always say what we believe in. At times we play with words. At times we play with people's sentiments. So it's from both genders, and both women and men. They are very complicated. But I think the Bible has given us a very good, how will I put it, way of living with people. If we apply it, when they say, do unto others what you would like them to do unto you.
Okay.
You see, with human relationships, when we try to be in the people's shoes, to see things from their perspective, we'll be able to move better with them. But Daniel, just before I finish, yesterday I called a line, not to speak to you by different line. I wanted to know, you hosted somebody recently, I think the name I wrote down is Dr. John C. Maxwell.
Yes.
He teaches on leadership. I would like to know whether he has any program in the coming days or weeks in Accra or anywhere in Ghana here, or how I can get in touch with him.
So the program has ended. I recorded that interview just before he went into his program, and then he was on his way out of the country when I aired it.
Is there any way I can reach him? Surely he might have a website.
Okay, so you know what? I'm going to put out that information, and the Transformation Ghana team is actually hard at work to work on his return to Ghana. But thanks anyway for calling. My last caller is on the line from Kumasi. His name is Godfred. Good morning, Godfred. Hi, Godfred. Is Godfred there? Daniel, thank you. I now understand why my wife can be on the phone for so long. Women can talk. Mike from Tema. I want to take final words from all of my guests. I'm going to take 30 seconds each. If you can make it like that, I'll take one female and one male. So, Mami, you go first.
Okay. So just to say that at the end of the day, I think that as human beings, we are all very different and we are complex. We have our DNA that comes into play, our experience of life. But I think that the bottom line is that we should be able to understand. You can communicate, but then not understand. So I think seeking for understanding will come when we all seek for growth to be better, to understand, and then it can improve, how do I say it? Cohesion, coming together, unity. So through growth, communicating, and yes, seeking understanding in the communication.
Amazing.
Bottom line. So,
amazing. Seeking understanding and communication, Bishop.
I think we should break the stereotype. Most people in Ghana will say that women are complicated. That's what most people will say. But I think we should break it because it has mental health implications. Once we think a woman is complicated, if she has genuine mental health issues, she might not even seek help because she thinks that is one of the complications society has put on me. So we should break that. And then also, we should allow the women to be women because that's what they are. Let them behave like women. Let them be expressive and all that.
Thank you very much, Bishop. So that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for joining us and for contributing via text and for calling in as well. My guests this morning were Bishop Fred Kranchi Mensah, Adjetey Anang, aka Pusha. Adjetey Anang will be on the runway for the Joy FM Bridal Fair, the Joy Beauty and Bridal Fair with his wife in July. So, Charlie, you want to come and join us for that one? You know, marrying all over again. It's a beautiful destiny. We'll add a honeymoon too on top. Effie Nkrumah was also here, and you know Mami Awinado. It's 21 minutes to the top of the hour. There's more on the Super Morning Show. Stay with us.